What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. This afternoon, we're going to be talking about the Jets adding a 16th candidate to the head coaching search, along with Aaron Glenn getting some hype from Adam Schefter. All right, so who is the most recent name added to the New York Jets head coaching search? Well, that would be lucky number 16, Joe Witt Jr., the most recent name. Now, you might be unfamiliar with him, and that's totally okay. He is relatively new on the scene, at least at a larger position. He's the defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. This is his first year as a defensive coordinator in the NFL, and it's a much improved unit. Last year, they were towards the bottom of the league. I believe they were last in the NFL in defense last year. They were 13th in yards and 18th in points, which is a big improvement. It's a roughly middle of the pack defense, but when you consider they were worst in the NFL a year ago, pretty nice improvement. Now, he was the cornerback coach in Green Bay from 2009 through 2017, bounced around after that from the Browns to the Falcons, and then the Cowboys. All three stops, he was a defensive backs coach and defensive pass game coordinator before finally landing this gig with the Washington Commanders. As I mentioned, they are 13th in yards, 18th in points. This is his first year as a DC, and he has worked under coaches like Dan Quinn, Bobby Petrino, Mike McCarthy, and Freddie Kitchens. Do I think he is a serious contender for the job? I would say probably pretty unlikely, but I'm more curious to see if the Jets get to 20 names for their head coaching search. Going back to old reliable Aaron Glenn, Adam Schefter added some fuel on the fire to the Aaron Glenn hype.
Well, it feels like their search is expanding rather than contracting. It just feels like there are more and more candidates interviewed there all the time. I think they're being very thorough in their approach. I expect that later this week that they'll begin whittling it down to second interviews for candidates for GMs, maybe even head coaches, depending on the schedule. I still think that when you're looking at the Jets, I believe Aaron Glenn is square in play there as one of the potential guys. Aaron Glenn is going to get a job in this cycle. Ben Johnson is going to get a job in this cycle. And I think that there's every possibility and probably likelihood that the Lions are going to be losing both their coordinators in this cycle. I'd be really surprised if both of them didn't come out of this with head coaching jobs. And I think Aaron Glenn is somebody that already is getting a lot of attention with the Jets, a lot of attention in New Orleans. And like I said, it'd be a major upset to me if he didn't come out of this with a job.
He played there? He was there?
Yeah.
This would be going back.
Played there, started his scouting career there. I think he coached there, like everything.
Vrabes. It's just like Vrabes going up to New England, understanding the situation. Would just be like Prime.
By the way,
going to Dallas.
you just right. So if Vrabel gets hired in New England as a former player, and Aaron Glenn gets hired in New York as a former player,
Prime.
Maybe Dallas will follow that model too.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying is they all kind of know how the shit goes. You know, like the question with the Jets, I assume for a lot of great coaching candidates, and there's a lot of Jets fans around the WWE crew, so it's kind of fun to chit-chat and watch their misery and really live through it. It's like there's a lot of coaches that have heard everything about Woody Johnson, you know, and he's not an ambassador for the next 4 years. He is going to be in the building, and one way or another, I know Woody's team isn't going to like to hear this. People hate working for you, brother. Like that is just kind of seemingly how it goes from a coaching department whenever people leave. Now, does everybody hate the place that they worked at if they get fired or move on? Potentially. You have to weigh all those things. But for these highly sought after coaching candidates, are you just going to sign up to work for Woody Johnson? I don't know if that's a lot of people's move, but Aaron Glenn, been there, done that, understands the situation, we assume, and would hopefully be able to command enough respect around a building to be able to handle that type of thing, just like you would think Vrabes with the Patriots, with the Crafts, because they know each other, just like you would think Prime with Jerry because they know each other. But is that reality or not? I don't know the world.
He believes Glenn will get a job this cycle. I think, and he kind of hints at it here, but the Jets and the Saints are really two players in on Aaron Glenn. Now, As I mentioned in my video this morning, Mike McCarthy going to the New Orleans Saints would throw a wrench in that, and I think would create a path which would allow Aaron Glenn to come to the New York Jets if that's the guy that they are truly looking to hire. Rich Cimini, in the video this morning, we talked about Cimini's prediction, saying that he believes the top two candidates are Aaron Glenn and Brian Flores, both of whom I feel very comfortable with, but this is now another person talking up Aaron Glenn and making that connection to the New York Jets. So I say when there's smoke, there's fire, and I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Glenn is the hire. I think it's something we can rally around. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.